Welcome to lesson 4 for the review. Topic number 4, there we go. Compound inequalities. This just means you're going to have two on the same graph. Compound is just a fancy way of saying two things put together. Like a compound word would be classroom. That's class and room put together. This is either going to be an and or an or. That's how we're going to join our two inequalities. And is a way of saying both. And it's usually going to be the area in between. So you're going to have two numbers, and it's going to be the area in between them. If you have an or, that means it's going to be basically like one or the other. So this one means you're going to have your two numbers, and you're going to go opposite directions. Okay? So we're going to do one of each. This first one is technically the and, but notice how nothing in the problem actually says the word and. Here's how you know it's an and. There are two inequality symbols here and here. So it's sort of like a double inequality. That means it's an and. And I usually call these inequalities sandwiches. Because whatever two numbers we get, x is going to be in between them. So let's focus on just this middle part. We want to get x by itself in the middle. So how do we get rid of this plus 5? We minus 5. The only part that's a little tricky about this is we have to do it on the left side and the right side. And then I'm actually going to do that operation. These two cross out. So I get negative 9 is less than 3x is less than 11 minus 5 is 6. Then I'm going to divide by 3 on everything because, again, I want x to be all by itself. So to get rid of this 3 in front of x, to get rid of any number that's in front of x without any symbols in between, you divide. So that leaves me with negative 3 is less than x is less than 2. That means negative 3 and 2 are my two numbers that go on the number line. Because these are both regular inequalities without the little line underneath, you just put an open circle, and you're going to connect them in the middle. Okay, because this one is saying x is less than 2. Boom. But this one is saying negative 3 is less than x, which is the same thing that is saying x is greater than negative 3, which is why the negative 3 is going this way. And then my interval notation, well, the left side of this graph is negative 3, the right side of this graph is 2. I don't see any closed circles, so they're both going to be parentheses. If there is an or, there will be the word or in the problem. That means you have to solve both of these and put them both on the graph. Okay, I'm not going to take a super long time to explain this one because we just did this in topic 3. I'm going to subtract this 7 from both sides. 11 minus 7 is 4. And then I'm going to divide by 2. And I get x is less than 2. Over here, I'm going to subtract the 11 from both sides. And this is like its own problem over here. Negative 4 minus 11 is negative 15. Then I'm going to divide by that negative 3 in front to get rid of it. The only thing is I'm dividing by a negative there, so it has to flip. And that's going to become greater than negative 15 divided by negative 3 is 5. So 2 and 5 are the two numbers I need to put on here. And I forgot one little thing. This one is supposed to have the line underneath. So I'm going to add it back. Because the 2 should be open, the 5 should be closed. Because it has that little line, that little bar underneath. And then the 2 is facing to the left next to it. So that means we're shading to the left. The 5 is pointing to the right. See how they're going opposite directions? That's what happens when you have an OR. When you go to do your interval notation, you need to do this one first, the one on the left. So the left side of this graph is negative infinity. The right side of this section is 2. There's no open circles in this part, so it gets parentheses. Then we have to add this part. The left side of this section is at 5, and to the right, it keeps going to infinity. And I do see a closed circle on the 5, so it gets a bracket, but the infinities always get parentheses. The reason why is because a bracket means it can be equal to, and you can equal 5 since it's closed, because it had the less than or equal to start with. You can't equal infinity, so it will never get a bracket.